So you've worked hard and you're reaping the rewards, experiencing the results of your hard work, your focus, your attention, and your commitment to living in the end. But what happens next? Hello and welcome to the High Performance Consciousness Podcast. My name is Matthew Paddy, and again, I will be your host for today's show. So what happens next? You've gotten great results, or you're starting to experience the results you've long wished for, wanted, worked hard for. And then there's this little letdown. The hormones let down, your physiology, your neurology, and starts to relax a little bit. But there's an unspoken fear that wants to push its way to the surface. And I've seen this, had many conversations about it over many years. And that is that of all the work that I've done so far and the results that I'm currently reaping, the rewards I'm currently experiencing, if I stop doing what I'm doing, there's a fear that it's all going to go away. It's going to disappear overnight. So how can we bring that unspoken fear to the surface, expose it, and then free it and upgrade it to a greater level of certainty and stability? It's quite simple, really. So let's dive into that in this episode. Let's go back to starting to think any time that you've committed, devoted yourself to a specific cause, a project, a passion, an idea. You've become obsessed by it, singularly focused by it, whether it was in sport, whether it's in academia, whether it's in family or starting a family, whether it's been finding a mate, whatever it may be. You are singularly focused on that outcome. And at some point, you arrived at a confirmation point and a realization that for me to get what I want, for me to experience the reality that I want, I desire, I must change. I must change the way that I think about myself. I must change the way that I think about what is possible. And I must change the action, the behaviours, and the habits that I lean into on a moment-to-moment, day-to-day basis. So this may have all been done unconsciously because you became consumed by the project, the idea, the quest. That is very, very typical. And that is the key to success. That is the key to desires fulfilled, is becoming absolute, becoming full and filled and embodied by the quest, to the point where there is no separation between what you desire and the havingness of what you desire, because both coexist in the now moment. So let's say as a coach or a consultant, you're wanting to grow your client base. Maybe you're wanting to raise your fees, increase your value, and all those great things. You've put some marketing out there. You've put great attention and detail to the language you're using, really speaking to your market at a depth. You're also giving attention to your daily habits. Are you doing, the 30, 40, 50 hours a week, thinking that hustling and grinding is the way? Or have you started to trim that back and prune some of that overreaching? And you get results. And you think, wow, this is great. Now I've moved from survival, potentially, into relief. I've moved up a bandwidth of income, up a bandwidth of clients, up a bandwidth of program launch. Now what happens? Now you deliver. And in the delivering of what you promise is the true value. And the true value is for two people, you and your client, or you and your mastermind, you and your family, whatever it may be. The value is then baked into the decision to work together. So now is where you follow through. And this is where a lot of people fall down, because they think, well, now that I've arrived and I've got my cash in my bank, or I've signed on new clients, or I'm starting to work with them, it's what I've always wanted to do. Now I've got this nagging feeling running as an undercurrent, and often is unspoken as a fear that is stripping away my certainty, is undermining my new belief that what I wanted is possible, and what I wanted is now happening, is now the result I'm experiencing. And so think about it like this. Unless you immerse yourself as you did previously to get the result you are now having, unless you immerse yourself in the content, in the material, in the living, the way of life, the behavior, the habits, there is a great chance that unless you've been doing it for 3, 6, 12, 18 months, 2 years, 3 years, that the old self will want to rear its head. It will want to raise itself from the dead. It will want to say, hey, remember me? Remember those old times where you struggled and you felt the fear and you worked really, really hard and you got some results but not the results that you wanted, and you were constantly feeling like you were chasing your tail or constantly feeling like more is better. Remember those times? That's an electromagnetic signature that's occurring in your body because of how you feel emotionally. So the emotions are the results or the events that occur from your thinking and from the neurological wiring and the biological wiring within your body. So if you entertain the old fear and you let your new behaviors, your new habits, your new focal points, your new decision points, your new embodied action, if you let that slide, then of course, there is a great chance that you are going to allow yourself, that's the key point here, air quotes, allowing yourself to go back into the pit or back into the old pool and swim with the old experiences. It's your choice. So think about going to a spiritual retreat, as it were. I'm not sure whether you've done any meditation or gone to a yoga retreat or a spiritual retreat, even an ashram. Think about it. That the reason why people continue to show up and continue to return to the guru, to the master, to the truth, it's not the person, it's the truth, is so that they can bathe consistently in the truth, to remind their old self and to be grateful for their old self that that time has come and passed and the use of the old self is no longer required. So you must immerse yourself in the new behavior, in the new habits, in the new thinking, in the new practices, in the new way of life. Because the first time you start to get results, the first time you see your bank balance increase, maybe for the week, maybe for the month, maybe for the quarter, there's going to be a chance and an opportunity or even an invitation from the old self to say, you can relax now. You've made it. So that's part of the shadow. You can relax now. Part of the shadow is you don't need to do anything more. You can rely on the impulses of new information that you've used to get where you are right now to carry you into the future and get more of the same. But I'm not going to work for it. I'm not going to stay loyal, dedicated, and dare I say it, even faithful to your desired end. So slowly but surely you unwind and you slip back into old habits. I'm not going to call them good or bad habits. You slip back into habits and behaviors and thinking that is aligned with the old self. That is where the rise of fear comes in. And maybe I need to go back in and do more marketing. Maybe I need to feel like I've got to hustle more. Maybe I've now got to hold on to my money and hold on for dear life in case it gets taken away from me. Does this make sense? So moving up a bandwidth from survival into relief, as I've said in previous episodes and many masterclasses, the relief frequency must be installed over a period of time. You may get fast growth and experience a week, a month, maybe 3 months. That is well beyond the old self. You are now flowing in riches, flowing in, new reality, and it feels really good. Your role now is to go deeper into relief. And how do you do that? You quench any old thinking that says, I must surrender now and give up and not work as hard and not be as focused. That's the thing. So it becomes a paradox. And if I go back to the ashram example, or go back to the meditation circle, or go back to even a self-empowerment seminar, or where you joined a program and you come together with alive people, but come in a live setting, it's so that you can bake the goodies deeper into your cells, bake it into your being, so that if you are around truth and what you determine as truth more frequently, then you are assisting and giving greater energy and focus and attention to the new information that you've acquired and applied and are now enjoying the results of. So if you take your foot off the accelerator, that's not necessarily the bad thing. But if you take your foot off the truth, call it a stone, Excalibur, whatever it is the sword. But if you take your hand or your foot off the stone of truth, which is how you arrived here in the first place at these new results, and you go into apathy or you go into super relaxed mode, laissez-faire, lackadaisical, even complacency. You can be complacent in the outside world, but what you cannot be complacent with is giving up the habits, the behaviours, the thinking, and the enrollment of the self in the desired experiences that you want. Because if you take your focus off the feelings and all the attention and practice that got you to where you are now, to a higher level of experience or a greater sense of abundance or a more fulfilled sense of being, then of course you're going to feel like you're going to go backwards. But everything's a test as well as an opportunity. It's like sometimes clients refer to it as, well, I feel really great, and now I've got to go and hang out with my family. Or I feel really great, now someone's from my past has re-entered my life and wants to catch up, or whatever it may be, and I feel like it's going to put me into a wobble and potentially a downward spiral. So the old self, the old thinking, the old feeling, the old wounds, the old behaviours start to creep in. You must make the new decisions based on the new mind, based on the new you that is experiencing the new reality. So although it doesn't sound terribly difficult, it can be unnerving, and at times it doesn't feel entirely easy to flip your mind. This is where awareness comes in. You must be aware. Awareness is golden. If you are aware of what you are thinking and what you are feeling and where that is taking you, then you can make a new choice. You can make a decision that empowers your now and empowers a future now that is aligned with yourself, your desires, aligned with your preferred reality. So, the next time you experience a big win, the next time you move up an octave or a bandwidth in income or experience, ask yourself, what were the positive things that I did, that I committed to, that I practiced to bring me to this result? Very critical. What were the things that I chose to do, and what were the things that I let go of that gave myself permission and the field permission to bring this result into reality? It's critical. It's so simple. It's so simple. It is with mathematical precision that if you can observe and be aware of the behavior, the thinking, the actions, how you feel towards your current reality, and monitor moment by moment your decisions to lean either in to those habits and behaviors and actions that align with your current results and prune those that do not, then you will have no problem maintaining your success, maintaining your rhythm, maintaining your flow, your focus, your peace, your relief. Practice makes permanent. That's one of my golden rules. Practice makes permanent. At the beginning, changing habits feels difficult, not because you are reluctant to do so or you resist change. At a cognitive level, you may resist change. You might be one of these people that likes the same place, the same people, the same food, the same clothes. That's okay. But unless you're willing to change your habits, change your behaviours, and change the way that you believe and what is possible for yourself, then your reality will not change. So practice makes permanent, meaning you install the new operating system, the morning, the evening routine, what you lean into and what you lean out of. You upgrade that. So it's not because change is hard. It's because you are focused on an outcome and are patient enough to see it through. Patient enough to see it through. Because let's face it, by the time it's great likelihood, by the time you've arrived at making the decision to change or to upgrade or to make something new and go after what you really want, you're probably at your wit's end. You're probably going, that's it. I'm done with this old experience. I want to be done with this cash flow, with these types of clients, with this type of work, maybe working for someone else. Maybe it's this relationship or this health, whatever it may be. And then impatience kicks in. I want it now. So I don't give attention and I don't give full practice and full commitment to the process with a medium to long-term view because I want it now. And that is the old neurological addictive nature of your body, saying you've been in pain, you've been in struggle, or maybe you've tasted relief and you want to go back to it. But the impatience is what keeps you from installing a long-term practice. Does it mean that installing a practice this week is going to mean the same practice is carried forward over the next 6 months, 6 years? No, it will evolve and change, just as you are. But practice makes permanent. Move away from impatience. If you have come to a decision that you want change, or you've gotten clarity now on the result that you desire, and you want it tomorrow or yesterday, chances are you're living in a fantasy world. It means I only am prepared to do what it takes to get the result tomorrow. Therefore, I'm going to fall prey the next day and the next day after getting the result to the old fear, which is at any point in time in my life, this result and any future results I desire can be taken away from me, and I have no power, and I lose control. That is the undercurrent. Give yourself to a new practice. And in giving yourself to a new practice, it may mean walking in the morning rather than just getting up and getting changed going to work. It's the small things, the 1% move on the needle that moves you progressively towards your goal. And little by little, you compound the interest, you compound the energy and the attention that you are giving to your desired end. So practice makes permanent. Revisit the truth. So if you do have a mentor, you do have a mastermind, you do have someone that lifts you up, that holds you to a higher regard, that can see your fullest potential and invite you to experience it with them, then lean in. That person, that group, that community, they are your rock of truth. Bathe in and give full attention to and much of your time and devotion to the information that you are learning. And I see this a lot. People come in, they'll do maybe a month or 2 or 3 in a little course, and they'll get great results. And they'll go, wow, that filled the gap. Thanks very much. My belly's full. I feel satisfied. Now I'm off into the world. A great majority of people will go back into the same cycle. And they will not upgrade themselves fully and create permanent change and lasting change because they've taken their eye off the ball. Not because they've become unworthy all of a sudden or undeserving, because the old fear surfaces itself, which is nothing ever lasts. Nothing ever maintains itself in my world. I can't experience long-term relief or long-term stability or long-term freedom. And there's the key. Because your practice slipped. Because you took your foot off the rock of truth. Because you moved away from the orbit of clarity. Okay? So I hope that's made sense to you. Brings up a lot of questions. You can make the change, and you can keep the change and add to it, provided you stay aware and you stay focused and attentive and practice. Practice what brought you to the new results. And if you're not getting the results that you want currently, then look exactly at what you do during the day. Look at how you engage your life day by day and record it for a week. How do you wake up? How do you go to sleep? What happens during the day? And observe. And you will look at a golden thread and you'll say, no wonder I'm getting the results I am. No wonder I get flash in the pan results and then they disappear. No wonder I feel I'm struggling so hard or working so hard or that I'm always waiting for the big payoff. Everything's a formula. Everything is available as long as you're willing to open your eyes and look objectively at the information. So from me here to wherever you are in the world, dream a better dream. And remember, it's all you, baby. See you in the field.